What if every callback your business handles could become more than just another expense? Today, we are talking about something I don't think a lot of contractors are aware of. If your business is already offering warranties on your work, what if there was a way to keep more of that money inside of your business instead of spending it somewhere else? Hey, I'm Shaytoya. I've spent more than 10 years in construction, working behind the scenes in marketing, hiring, and I've seen how overwhelming it can be to grow a business. That's how we've learned to build a sustainable business using clear systems, strong communication, and intentional recruiting. If you're ready for better hiring, smarter remarketing, and a business that doesn't fall apart when you step away, welcome to Building Better Contractor Businesses. So welcome. I'm super excited to have the opportunity to be speaking with today Tim Byrd, who is the founder of Warranty RE. Tim, can you just share with us a little bit about who you are and how you ended up in the warranty business?
Sure. Well, my name is Tim Byrd. I am the father of 8 kids and 4 grandkids, and with all my in-laws, we have a group of 20 as our current number of family members, and we live in Virginia. Well, not all of us, but I live in Virginia, and I live on a little farm called Critter Cove. And Critter Cove is been here for over 20 years, and it's a little piece of heaven, a peninsula that sticks out in a lake. And we have horses and chickens and dogs, and we have a children's ministry here. In fact, there's a whole bunch of kids outside right this minute enjoying Critter Cove and learning a little bit about Jesus while they're here.
I love that. You said 8 kids and some grandchildren. That is pretty. I have kids as well, and they're a lot younger, 4 and 6. So that's pretty cool. How did you get into the warranty business?
Well, several years ago, I was in the insurance business, and I was in the Coast Guard, and I came to Virginia and got out of the Coast Guard, and I was going to be a tugboat captain. That's what I thought I was going to be. But God had some different paths for me to go down because he shut that door and he opened up a door of me working in the insurance business. So I actually knocked on doors selling life insurance to begin with, which I can tell y'all is an educational experience in itself. And after that, I had a friend of mine that I had sold insurance with, and he's like, man, you need to come get in the car business. Car business is the place to be. So I got in the car business and I sold cars for a little while. And because of my insurance background, they put me into what's called finance and insurance, which are a business manager. And so I did that for several years. And a company hired me to train other business managers. And after that, I worked for them for a little over 3 years. And one day they were like, you guys need to get out there and work harder. Why, if you need us, we'll be at the golf course. And I'm like, I think I can do this myself. 32 years ago, I started my own company. And that company was providing warranties and service contracts to the car business. And that's where we got started. We've been in business for 32 years. And not too terribly long ago, I was having a conversation with a company, the guy owned the HVAC company. He's like, I just asking, just talking, having a conversation. And he's like, he's a pretty big company. He sold 1,500 new HVAC units a year, that's a big company. But he's buying a warranty, a labor warranty from a third party. And he was paying $400 for each one of those labor warranties as a value add. So, you do business with me and we're going to, cover our work for a year, 2 years, whatever it was. And I'm like, man, he's got $600,000 a year he's sending off to a third-party warranty company. I'm like, this is exactly like what happens in the car business. Car dealers buy warranties from third-party companies to put on their cars. And when they do that, they send that money away and that money's gone forever. Now, hopefully the warranty company's going to cover some claims, but in this case with the HVAC guy, now you guys listening to this, do you think he has $600,000 a year in claims? Of course not. So what we do is we set you up to own your own warranty. And by owning your own warranty company, there's a great number of benefits. But one of the the best is that instead of sending that $600 or however much it is off to a third party company, you're sending it to your own company that we set up for you. That's what we do. Been doing it for over 30 years. And by doing that, Uncle Sam says that you can put $2.9 million a year into a reinsurance company and not pay any tax on it. Okay. So right now, you're probably either you're buying a warranty from somebody or you're just warranting it yourself because everybody has comebacks. I don't care how good you are, how good of products you have mistakes get made and you have to send somebody back out to fix it. Or if that's not the case, if it's even a new part can fail and you have to and the manufacturer may cover the part, but they're not going to cover your guy going out there. And you and I both know, Shaytoya, that if they go out there, you're pulling them off another job, right? A paying job, to send them out to a job that's not a paying job. So it can be a real hit for a business owner. So that is one of the main premises and reasons why we do this. Now, there are so many great benefits to doing that. So
that is amazing, Tim. And I don't think most contractors even are aware that this is available. So thank you for sharing that. And I've also, you and I kind of come through the same background. I sold life insurance for a little while, as well as worked at a car dealership.
yeah.
Yes, I do know. And so, you did mention a lot. You mentioned to us of what a warranty is. Do you have anything to add onto that before we move on to?
Yeah. So with your audience who primarily are contractors, and contractors are going to, like I said, they go out and they do a job and they want to warranty their job. In other words, they want to guarantee their job. And because, that's what all good business owners do is they guarantee their work. This gives you an opportunity to actually set aside funds to cover that. Now, I want y'all to understand something that's very important. Okay. When most of you guys are probably S Corps or LLCs or a combination, and which means that you are a flow through corporation. So you make $1 and that dollar goes through the process, and whatever you don't expense out, whatever's left over becomes your taxable income. And you guys know that number, whatever it is, you're going to pay taxes on it. And it's not always the cash that you have in the bank, right? It's the number that you have to pay taxes on. So anything that you can expense out is things that you're not paying taxes on your corporate side. And when you move it to your warranty company side, you're not paying taxes on it there either. Okay. You can actually stack it up. And let me back up and say something about ownership about this. You're the stockholder. Okay. I'm not talking about your employees, not your company. You are the stockholder. Now, and it may be you and a business partner, but you own the warranty company. So all of that money that you're expensing out and you're moving it over to your warranty company is now money for the warranty company. So the best way I can explain this is kind of like car insurance. When you buy, so Shaytoya, how long is your car insurance policy for?
1 year.
Right. So most of them are either 6 months or a year. And do you know why that is?
To I guess the risk factor to see the liability of you as a driver.
Right. That's part of it. But the main reason is that when they collect your premium, that premium goes into the insurance company and they have to reserve it to pay claims, right? But once the contract has expired, it goes from premium to underwriting profit. Okay. And when it goes to underwriting profit, who has the biggest buildings in the cities? The insurance companies and the banks, right? It's because they're killing it. And what this allows you as a contractor to do, and like you said, have you heard of this before?
Which part? The warranties or the?
No, having your own warranty company. Have you heard of that before?
No, I have not.
So the thing is that this is new to your industry. There are some big companies out there that sell warranties to contractors, but nobody is really helping contractors set up their own warranty company. Now, let me give you just an example to go by. Okay. We have a roofer, for instance. A guy puts on roofs and he charges $1,000 for a warranty. Okay. Now, he takes that $1,000 and expense it out of his warranty company, and he does 200 of those a year. Okay, he has expensed out $200,000 out of his corporation, and he moves that $200,000 to his warranty company. Now, that money can sit there forever, and I'll get back to that a little later on about a lot of the benefits to that. But so year one, he puts $200,000 in there. Year two, he puts 200,000. Now he's at 400, and then year three, he's at 600. Okay. Now he's got $600,000 in his reinsurance company. And let's say he paid out $100,000 in claims. I mean, I doubt it's going to be that much, but let's say he did. He had to go out and fix some things that got messed up. My own roof, when they put a new roof on my house and they didn't put the plywood on there right, and they had to come back and redo the whole thing. Okay. And that can be expensive. Even if the manufacturer covered the material part of it, it's a labor cost. But so let's say he spent that money and now he's got in his warranty company, he has $500,000. Okay. Now he can take that $500,000 out and use it for anything he wants to. He can use it to buy equipment. He can use it for whatever. And get this, he can borrow the money from himself. And if you borrow the money from your own asset, it does not create a taxable event. Okay. Uncle Sam, as I said, says you can put $2.9 million a year into a reinsurance company and not pay any tax on that premium. All right. Or the whole time it's in there. And it's not a flow through corporation. So that money, you're not every year, you're not having to pay in any taxes on that. We do a tax return for you, and it just declares what you've done. It does not, you don't pay any taxes on it. So what that allows you to do is build a capital resource. So now you have your main company, and you have come alongside that, you have a warranty company. And that warranty company is now, you're building up money in that so that capital resource to use for whatever you need to use it for. I'll give you an example. We had a client recently that his son wanted to buy a house. So he decided, now he's got several $1,000,000 in his warranty company. And he's just like, well, look, instead of you going to get a mortgage, I'll loan you the money out of my warranty company. And which two things happen. One is the son gets a better deal because he's not paying loaded upfront interest, right? And number two, the dad's getting a better deal because now he's using that money and making some interest income off of that and helping out his son. So it just makes for a very simple, in other words, let me just say this, guys, it gives you more options. If you want more options in this world, in this business, and we know how tough business is. I've been in business for a very long time. It's very important to have as many options as possible, and especially one that gives you this many options.
Tim, that was great. A lot of information that you did share with me. So when it comes to these warranties, is there a starting range? Because what I'm understanding, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, you're paying into this warranty, and then if you don't use it at the end of the year, you could possibly get money back. Is there a certain amount of dollars that you have to pay into the warranty, or is it like based off of how many employees you have?
No, it's really based on the risk that you have. Okay. So if you're putting roofs on, that's a level of risk that's probably different from HVAC unit or different from a plumber or electrician. But the thing is what we've seen is a lot of companies like an HVAC company will have, not only do they have a warranty, but they sell a service contract. So they say, if you pay us X number of dollars a month, if you happen to have any problems at all, first of all, we're going to put you at the front of the line. Okay. Because one of the things we've all seen in the trades is when you need a plumber or electrician or whatever, sometimes you got to wait because they're so backed up. So if you're part of our membership program, and you're paying for that, then when you do have a problem, we're going to put you at the front of the line. So there are so many different things. You can do warranties, you can do a service contract, you can do a maintenance program. These are all things that you probably, those of you that are buying it from a third party, instead of buying it from a third party, you're buying it from yourself. And let me add this, Shaytoya, that is no different. The only difference that anybody will notice is you, the customer, your employees, all of them are not going to know any different than what you've been doing.
Understood. So that's great. And then one of the things that I just from the information that you've shared with me, Tim, when it comes to reinsurance, can you just explain that in simple terms?
Yes, reinsurance. The reason it's called reinsurance is because these are not insurance products, but they're insured products. Okay. And those insured products are backed up by a big insurance company. In other words, the reinsurance part of it. So you're going to insure it by the money that you are collecting and putting into your reinsurance company. But then we cover you. So what that means is your company goes out of business and you got a bunch of claims and they wipe out all your reserves. And now there's no money to pay claims, which the odds of that happening are pretty slim. But even if it does happen, then we have to step in and cover those claims. That's the reinsurance.
Got it. So just another lifesaver, pretty much. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, we're backing you up. So what I want to say is this is a turnkey deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you do business with us, and we've been doing this for so long, we have car dealers and contractors from Hawaii to Alaska to Maine to Florida to Texas and everywhere in between. Okay. So we have been doing this and have the experience and like I said, we started out in the car business just like you did. But we started out in the car business, which who has more warranties and problems than the car business, right? So we started there, and then we found that, my goodness, here's a whole industry that's not being served. And that's why I'm here today. I want to spread the word. Guys, you're out here busting your tail and you're have problems that all businesses have, but we can solve a lot of those problems. Y'all know what those problems are. You think about it. You already talked about callbacks. Okay, that's a problem. And look, you guys that are buying a third party warranty, and Shaytoya, you know this is a fact that when they buy a warranty, and then I had a guy tell me the other day, if we have a claim, we usually don't even file it because it's too much trouble. Okay, so not only did they pay for the warranty, now they're paying for the guy to go back out there and they're just eating it. So this keeps you guys from eating all of that and turning it into a profit center. Now, and look, when I say a profit center, I'm not talking about increasing your corporation to make more money. It is going to help your corporation, okay? But I'm telling you, it's going to put more money in your personal pocket. Your pocket, all right, because you will be the stockholder of that company.
That was great. And so you shared with us a lot, and I asked you kind of like when it comes to kind of like the what it looks like when you're purchasing or becoming your own warranty company. You mentioned HVAC, you mentioned roofing, but who do you believe this is really for? Can a smaller contractor also benefit from this, or is it just for larger contractors?
This is a business, okay? We're creating a company, and this company is actually a C Corp, okay? Now, like I said, most of you guys are S Corps or LLCs, and some we have a local HVAC company that's a C Corp, but this is not the same kind of C Corp. It is a small property and casualty insurance company, okay? And so it has special rules that go along with that. And that being said, what that allows you to do is to move that money over to that company and be able to access it. You're building a capital resource. So you see what I'm saying?
Understood. And with you saying that, Does that come with a lot of liabilities for the contractor who wants to become a warranty owner? Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. That your liability, you already have the liability. You're not reserving for it. You already are going out and doing deals and making promises that you're not backing up with money. Okay. In other words, you're not monetizing your risk. What this allows you to do is to set aside money to monetize your risk. And it is perfectly, like I said, we've been doing this for many years. This is a very legitimate business opportunity because you have risks. So anybody that has risk in that respect can reserve for it. Now, again, because it is a business, businesses have expenses. Every year we have to do a tax return. Well, we got to pay a CPA for that. We don't actually do it. We pay somebody that's an expert in reinsurance to do it. Every year you have to have a license renewal, business license renewal. Well, you do that now, right? Okay. Now, you don't have brick and mortar and you don't have trucks and equipment and all that stuff. So the return on investment here is fantastic. However, you're going to have, you need to be able to, and you're going to have claims. So you're going to need to be able to put enough money away that it makes sense. All right. And we'll help you with that. So if you think this is something that you're interested in, then give us a call and we'll, take 15 minutes and figure it out. Is this something that is beneficial to you? I don't know. I can't give you an exact number until we talk because, of course, there's a lot of similar businesses out there, but they're all different. Every one of them. You should see the car business. Good gracious, from franchises to buy here, pay here. There's all kinds of businesses out there and different business models. But we'll work with you to try to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot, Tim. And you shared a lot. And I believe you might have already answered this, but what are some of the biggest mistakes that you feel like contractors make when it comes to warranties?
Well, I can tell you the number one regret of all of our clients is that they didn't do this sooner. They look at it, they start adding to it, they realize the amount of money that they have left on the table, the thousands of dollars that they have spent on different from third-party warranty companies. Thousands and thousands. And so that in itself is probably the biggest regret. The mistakes that are made there, I don't know that the mistakes can be solved by setting up your own warranty company. I think that in being in business as long as I have, one of the things that I do is I try to put God first in my life so that I have a sound pathway in which to walk. Okay. And one thing that I learned from a guy named Zig Ziglar, he said, you can get everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. And that's our company motto. That's what we do. We want you to succeed. This is not just us selling you a widget and making some money off the widget. We're going to partner up with you in the sense that we are going to help you set this up, and we're not going to make any money unless you make money. And we're going to have this so that it becomes a wealth builder. I want you guys to know that as far as return on investment, all right, you will get more out of this than anything else you do because everything else has such a massive expense to do it. This has very little, but it's something that you have a risk on that you can use that risk to turn it into a profit center.
Understood. You gave so much great information. I know I had a question that came to mind and I totally forgot it.
All right.
And so you did mention a 15-minute phone call. Would you say that's the first step someone should make if they're interested in working with you?
Yeah, just give us a call. I mean, you can go to our website, Warranty Re, just like it's the little hyphen there, warranty-re.com. You can look around there. You can just fill out a little contact form and we'll contact you, or you can call us at 804-824-9533 and we'll set up a time to talk then. That's the thing is by contacting us, we can kind of analyze what you are, not just because I mean you could say, well, I'm a this kind of contractor, that kind of contractor. Well, tell us about your business, because our people have been doing this a long time too, and they are very good at what they do, and they will help you to fit the solution that is best for you, the product that is best for you. When I say product, I might warranty, service contract, maintenance program, whatever it happens to be, and to fit your needs and help you to build and grow. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. If you think this is a magic bullet that you don't have to work on, I'm here to tell you that nothing is. Anything that you do, you have to put forth effort, and nothing worthwhile is easy, right? So, if you take this and you work it, it will be the greatest source of profit that you have as far as return on investment. So I hope you'll give us a call.
Yes. And what I actually love about this, Tim, kind of what the things that you've shared with us, it's things that people are already doing with, of course, offering their own warranties. When it comes to a piece of advice, what piece of advice would you give to every contractor?
Well, I think that it's important to continue to educate yourself, okay? Guys and gals out there that are running companies, if you are not continuing to grow in your business, in your personal growth, if you're not continuing to grow personally, then you're going to have employees leave you. And you know why? Because it's John Maxwell talks about the lid. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that. John Maxwell talks about the lid, and that lid is, when people start bumping up against your lid, which is your employees starting to know more about your business than you do, that's a problem. So educate yourself, read good books, and continue to study. I'm constantly reading books. I read a book recently. Well, y'all probably are familiar with Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Okay, that was written in the 1920s and 30s, right? And right after that, he wrote a book called Outwitting the Devil. And that book was not released for 70 years because his wife was scared to death that somebody was going to think ill of him for talking about the devil. But if you've ever read Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis, which is a story of two demons talking back and forth to each other about how they can get Christians, this book is about an interview with the devil, and the devil has to answer honestly, and the knowledge and the wisdom that comes out of this is fantastic. Now, Sharon Lecter is the one that got this released through the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and then she also wrote a book called, or co-authored a book. But y'all have heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? So she co-authored that. She also co-authored a book called 3 Feet from Gold. And look, if this doesn't hit the entrepreneurial nerve in your brain, I don't know what else will. But the story that Napoleon Hill told in Think and Grow Rich about a guy who was out there mining for gold, and he stopped, he gave up, he sold his stake. A guy comes in and found a brand new big stream of gold 3 feet from where he had stopped. Okay. Which, that goes back to old Winston Churchill saying, never, never, never give up. Right. And so those are the kinds of books that can really help inspire you, help you to think about how, as Napoleon Hill would say, definiteness of purpose, to have your purpose, be focused in on that purpose and drive that home. Because if you are focused on it, then you're not going to let things distract you. Another good book that I'll recommend real quick, and this is by a young lady. Her name is Natalie Dawson, and she wrote a book called Start the Work. Okay. And Start the Work is not self-help as far as, this wisdom kind of like Napoleon Hill kind of stuff, or even John Maxwell. It is more of a step-by-step, exactly how the things that you need to implement into your business right now. Everything like doing one-on-ones, putting in metrics, doing SOPs, and all of these things, doing personal, professional, financial goal planning with your employees, and tuning into their goals so that they can help you reach your goals. results. And that goes back to Zig Ziglar, right? You can get everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get it they want.
I love that. Tim, I've read all of those books but the last one, and they were all great books. So I will be sure to check that book out.
Good.
Yes, I would say all of those books that you've mentioned has probably been a couple years. So I might be due to do a reread. I'm a big believer in when you read a book, depending on the stage of life you are, of course, you're going to get different things. When it comes to contractors reaching out to you personally, or you did mention that the warranty website, which is great. How should someone connect with you?
Well, you can connect with us through the website, or you can email us you can email me, Tim, at warranty-read.com, or call us at 804-824-9533. We're on Facebook, all kinds of social media stuff. So we're here to help. I'm doing this podcast because I want you to know that there is options for you out there that you didn't know about. And I would really love to work with you and help you to set this up, and you're going to be amazed. I had a guy call me recently. We have a new car franchise store that said, was talking to a contractor friend of his, and he's a $250 million company. This guy's a contractor all over the United States. Big. I think he said he's in 48 states. And do you know that he's calling because he heard about us and wants to figure out how they can set up a warranty company to warranty their stuff. So if you're a $250 million company, or you're a $2 million company, give us a call. We can work with you and help you to grow and have the resources, give you more options. That's what we're all looking for, is more options to do better at what we do. Because what this does, you will make money on this deal, but it will help you be a better business owner, because all your claims processes will now be handled. You're going to have a mechanism in place to handle the things that come up, that it's simple and easy, that your office just send in the list of warranties, and then when you have claims, they send in a list of the claims, and those are taken care of, and you start getting money back for all those things you've been eating.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tim. This conversation, I learned a lot, but thank you so much. I hope you have a great one.
All right. Thank you for having me. God bless you.
God bless you. If you believe that this episode brought you real clarity, be sure to share it with another contractor who also needs it. And if you want to keep this conversation going, be sure to join our community of contractors inside Building Better Contractor Businesses Facebook group. This is a community where we talk through the real problems that you are having in your business. The link will be found in our show notes. And remember, we are not just completing projects. We are building better contractor businesses. I will see you next time.